24th day of June in the year of our Lord 2026. I hope you've had a good morning, and I hope the last 21 hours have gone well as well. What's wrong, Sky? I'm here. Big Sky Mountain Mosley's here, and Eubank is also with me on the regular Wednesday edition of the program. Sky, how are you?
I'm well. Good morning. Good morning. Ann, how is everybody?
Here.
We're here. She is in an exceptional mood today.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just a female thing.
Oh,
Fight
man.
me.
Okay. All right, and we're 1 minute 8 seconds into the program. Okay.
Oh no, but she is especially ready today, so it is going to be a fantastic day here on the program. We got the YouTube finally starting, so you can check us out over there, and it's all going well. Hold on, got to cough a minute. Hold on, I'm getting ready.
Okay, get ready. There he goes. And
Thank goodness. So what's happening? Anything good?
Oh, nope.
Nothing good.
Nope.
The soccer's good.
Oh, okay. I don't watch
World
soccer,
Cup's good.
but I see it on the news how all the Europeans and how all the rest of the world wants to come live in America.
They're
Gee,
loving
I'm
America.
so excited about that. Let's bring some more foreign people
Well-
into America that can be elected to Congress or maybe appointed to judge.
I think these people who are coming for I would make that trade, Ann, because the folks that I'm seeing are loving America because they appreciate it. They're here. They're paying their own bill. They're paying their hotels. Some of them are camping out. Some of them are traveling. They're buying expensive tickets to go to these soccer matches, and they're like, America is not what I was told it was. I love this place. I saw a Scottish guy, I think it was Scottish. He had gone back to Scotland, filmed himself, and he's like, this is me missing America.
aw. Have you seen what the Scottish do? They put cones on statues' heads. It's like a tradition.
That was the thing I didn't. I was a little bit ill because they were climbing up, putting it on George Washington's head or something like that in one of the cities.
They put one on Lincoln too. So it's like if you get a Scotsman around a traffic.
So is
cone,
that's
and
just a thing that they do?
It's actually it's not derogatory at all. It's kind of it's a weird. Scotland's a weird place. Okay.
That's much better
golf,
than tearing
bagpipes.
them down.
Right.
That's true.
Right. It's
Spray
actually
painting the red all over them. At least, they don't
they're an
do
interesting people.
permanent
They didn't
damage.
break any of them.
No.
Right.
No. Oh, it's,
Being-
it's kind of a
being-
thing of respect.
Being from Scottish lineage,
Where all the redheads are.
where all the redheads are.
I told somebody else that over the weekend.
Oh,
and
did you?
They didn't believe me either, but I said, no, it's documented that
documented.
Scottish people are more likely to be redheaded
Yep.
than Irish.
Yes. That
And
is
that's
true.
just one of those things that we just don't know unless we listen to a program like this.
That's
I
right.
feel a call coming on.
Well, he just didn't know. He didn't know.
Okay.
Maybe he's Scottish and doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's possible. That's entirely possible.
And those crystal blue eyes. I had my eyes checked yesterday, and the optometrist or ophthalmologist or whatever, I couldn't decide which one he was.
The eye doctor?
Yes. Some of them are optometrists and some of them are ophthalmologists, and they all have these big things hanging on the wall. Said that
choking?
I had a very unusual eye color.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm like, okay, it's Scottish.
I'm going to cough a few more times, and I've decided that I'm going to start smoking. Because if you're going to cough like this, you might as well smoke.
How long coughing like this?
Since I sucked down the glaze off that donut.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's not a normal thing. It's not a regular thing. It's just since I sucked down the
Okay.
donut glaze.
Yeah,
I have a $2 deal at the bakery I go by.
My daughter has even had a CT done last week. She's been coughing for several years, and they swear it's not long COVID, and they've done everything they know how to do. So I guess I'll be calling.
Have y'all
you.
tried the nicotine
Yeah.
for long COVID?
Yep.
The patches and stuff?
Yep.
And that didn't
Nicotine,
help?
The whole, she had an inhaler. She had reflux medicine. She's had, I can't tell you.
Really?
So I guess I'll be calling Jordan Vaughn and saying, okay, what's the newest thing?
Maybe it's one of those things where whatever's down in there got irritated, and then it kind of makes you keep coughing. You know how you, even after you get well, sometimes you just keep coughing because the coughing irritates it,
Right.
and then it just keeps going.
I mean, this is a very irritating, constant cough.
Constant cough.
And she's on the phone a lot with her job.
Did she have a cough when y'all were on the cruise? Was it bad
Oh,
then?
that was way before.
Okay, so now she has it. I thought you went on a cruise like last spring.
We did, and we both came back with a cough.
Oh, you got the cough from all the nasty Europeans.
Yes, I did. And I went to the doctor, and she said I had a residual sinus infection and gave me Z-Pak for 7 days, and I was cured.
And you were fine.
Yeah. Wendy hasn't been cured. So Jordan Vaughn's the only person I know.
To go to Tankersley might could. Well, that's the
he's
same.
in-
That's the
yeah,
same team, but he's in Montgomery. Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
go to Tankersley. I may call him and say,
Hey, what do I need to do?
yeah, because according to the CT, she's normal.
Really?
She ain't normal.
Well, her cough is normal.
She is a mini me.
She is little Ann. So
Yeah, she is.
the Sky did any updates? Any soccer updates? I missed soccer last night.
I did too. I got very busy with local news and totally missed that. I saw some scores along the crawler, but we'll have to wait for our in the field
For Rocco
expert.
Tour to tell us
Yeah.
tell us where we
Yeah,
are.
he's got the scoop on that.
Do I need to call home because my husband hasn't come out of his man cave for 2 weeks?
Oh, we got a fan.
Does he like the
Oh,
does he
any
like the
kind of-
World Cup?
Any kind of
Any kind of sport.
any kind of sports.
I
So I
told
guarantee you he watched every single one of them.
I told one of the guys that works here that I have watched so much soccer I feel like I went to a Christian school. Is that bad?
Yeah.
That's bad.
St. Paul's, Mary's St. Paul's Church of the
What at Highlands?
whatever the Highlands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Whatever.
All right, so the U.S. Congress looks like they're going to pass the Housing Act, the House of Representatives. There's a news story is out. The House passes affordable housing bill, sends it to Trump's desk. We talked a little bit about it yesterday because the U.S. senators from the state of Alabama split on it. Katie Britt voted for the housing bill,
Imagine that.
and Tommy Tuberville voted no. I think it was him, Mike Lee, Rand Paul. I can't remember the other two. I think only 5 senators voted no.
There's your sign.
When they all hate affordable housing, that's what I took from it, was that
yeah,
they're
right.
just against people being able to afford housing. And the rest of the House and Senate are for affordable housing. And that's all I need to know, really, because I'm an American.
No,
And I just need to know that 95, well, arguably, if you took it out of 100, the vast majority of the United States Senate and the Congress care deeply about me as a little person in America and making it so that housing for Americans is affordable. Is that's what I should take, right? I should just be happy and celebrate affordable housing. We don't need the SAVE Act because that's too much for America. Clean elections, not a priority. Affordable housing.
Yeah, when you look at who voted against it, you should understand there's a lot of stuff in there they ain't telling you about, like the $200 million to give illegal aliens money.
$200 million?
Yes.
I thought we were opposed to giving illegal
Okay.
aliens money
Yes.
on the Republican side
I
these
did
days.
too. But the only good thing, and it may just be a red herring, that they stopped BlackRock from buying up all the housing and renting it out. A percentage. They only allow them a percentage because BlackRock.
A percentage of the whole
Oh,
entire what was the percentage?
I can't remember. I didn't print the whole
It
thing.
wasn't like one or
No,
two.
no,
It was
no.
probably like 20 or 30.
Because that's the reason we have the housing problem.
Well, illegal
is-
aliens too.
is BlackRock buying up all the housing
Yeah.
and putting illegal alien renters in there. So
Well, just before we take a break, when Time Magazine starts their article about the housing bill with these 6 or 7 words, in a rare display of bipartisanship, comma, you know it probably was not good. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome into the program, everybody. We're back. And Eubank is with me, Big Sky Mountain Mosley as well. Let's get out to your phone calls before we move on. Real quick, to catch us back up, we were talking about the fact that the United States Senate and House have passed some version of what they're calling housing affordability. Time Magazine, story by Connor Green. Now, this is Time Magazine. I'm going to read you the first sentence. Actually, the first paragraph. It's 2 sentences. In a rare display of bipartisanship, which should always make people worry,
Look out.
the Senate overwhelmingly voted to pass a sweeping House bill on Monday, with only 5 lawmakers voting against the legislation. 10 other senators did not vote. So then I'll go ahead and tell you who the 5 were, because I know you want to know. They were all Republicans. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who's pretty solid, isn't he?
definitely solid.
How he wins in Wisconsin, I don't know. They're probably on his way out. Mike Lee of Utah, been pretty solid. Rand Paul of Kentucky,
Solid.
Rick Scott of Florida.
That's surprising.
Well, once he decided to take that stand and try to say, hey, we can do better, I'm not saying he was hard right.
Right.
And then they said, no, we'll blow you up. You have to be a complete follower.
Right.
And I think that kind of
Messed him.
liberated him,
Yeah,
and he's like, okay, fine, I'm just
I'll
going to do my thing.
Yeah.
And then Tommy Tuberville of Alabama.
Yeah.
That's the 5 who said no. Now, if I had just about any issue before the government and those 5 together said no, I could walk in the chamber. I'm a U.S. Senator, okay? Say I was elected in Alabama or I was appointed, something happened, and I'm there. And I'm just walking in day one, and they've got a piece of legislation up. And I look around, and they say, hey, Tuberville's against it, Scott's against it, Rand Paul, Lee, and Johnson. They're voting no. But it's the greatest bill ever, Scott. You need to be for it. We're all for it. It's awesome. Those 5 are against it. I'm automatically touching my nose. I'm like, I'm a no. Well, you don't even know what's in it. Yeah, but I know you guys, and I know these guys.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and vote me no. I'll run. I'll take my chances.
Well, Tim Burchett reported this morning that the House passed it.
Oh my gosh! So it is on the way to the president's desk.
Yeah, and it wasn't cleared.
You know what they're doing?
Yeah. Wait, I got 4 words for you.
What?
Do you remember 2008?
I guess that's 4.
I do. The housing bubble.
The housing bubble. Sky was warning us.
I'm all over this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is coming down.
But here's the other thing they're doing. Okay, Trump says, "Hey, I'm not signing any of y'all stuff until y'all do the SAVE Act."
well, that'll
Okay, now we're talking.
But look what they did, Sky. They're running something over to the White House, led by Republicans. They're
Bipartisan.
running something over to the White House and says, Mr. President, are you against affordable housing? You can't be against affordable housing.
And all he has to say is, "What is this $200 million?"
That's what
in
I would
here
advise him to do. Yes.
for the illegal aliens to be able to have the government give them money for housing.
Yes. Yes. That's what he should do. He should blow them up for this piece of legislation.
Yeah.
And point out to people, make those senators and make those congressmen go out and say, yeah, but I have to vote on a big bill. It's got a lot of, so you vote on a lot of things that have a lot of bad things in them. Is that what y'all do? That's how y'all run it over there?
And whose bill was this? Elizabeth Warren's.
Well, that tells you all you need to know, right?
Well,
It
and
has
Tim Scott.
It has Tlaib, whatever her name is, her amendments. I mean, it is. Well, we no longer have a Democrat Party and a Republican Party. We have a uniparty in Congress with maybe 10 true people who are there for the people.
Right.
The rest of them, who's giving them money to pass this kind of legislation? Who?
Well, I said yesterday, this kind of legislation makes a lot of people a lot of money.
That's exactly right.
It's not about me and you being able to afford a house.
No.
It is about making money. It's very similar to when I've talked to people in some of these blue dot cities, some of them minorities, and they're like, I don't understand why are we spending so many $1 million for this project?
Right.
We don't really need this, do we? I'm like, look, it's not about what you need.
That's right.
It's about somebody's getting paid to build that thing. They don't care if anybody comes to it afterwards. And this person was like, "Oh my gosh, that actually makes sense." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with it." When you get folks from other places come into your city and say, "Hey, this is the greatest economic development project ever. You need to take all the taxpayer money and build this." Well, who's going to build it? Well, I'm going to build it for you.
Exactly.
That's what it was about. And this affordable housing thing. Like,
What's the title of it again? What's the title of the act?
They're just calling it the Affordable Housing Bill.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah.
Kind of. It
really
starts off
does.
with the same premise. I wonder how it'll turn out.
So the average age today to buy a house has gone up from somewhere in the upper 20s to 36. And I was telling you the other day, Scott, about my daughter bought her house 8 years ago in Bluff Park for $250,000. Of course, she had to spend money to redo it. But the house down the street, like 6 houses away from her, added a story on top of its house, up on the one level.
Right.
$700,000, and it sold in a week.
What is that, 6 years later, you said?
Yes.
You can't
Okay.
do much after that. According to AI, the typical age to buy a house is 33 to 40 years old for first-time buyers. The average age for all buyers, not first-time buyers, but who's buying houses the most? 56 to 59.
Where's the American dream? What happened?
But
Yeah.
BlackRock,
Mm-hmm.
Vanguard, because they went out and bought up all the supply.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, you got to throw in the millions and millions of illegal aliens.
Well, that's
There
true.
you go.
So you're
Supply
getting
and demand.
squeezed. You're getting squeezed from the millions of illegals, and then you have these global companies who are like, "We'll just buy everything.
Which makes the
We'll-
price go up.
We'll use your retirement fund, your pension fund, your 401k, and use your money to buy the houses." Now think about this. To buy the houses, to charge you more for the houses, so that whatever it was you thought you were going to have in retirement, you had to spend a bunch of it ahead of time, and then we'll give you whatever's left at the end, and you'll be thankful for your retirement, even though it won't buy anywhere near what you thought it would because the dollar has been so deflated in value. But that ability to take your money and use it against you and your children in the long run, and we're all like, "This is a great system. I love this." Sky talks about it all the time, but that's what they do to us, is it not?
And who's the head of the WEF? The same guy who's the head of BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
World Economic Forum
And what?
is,
And give us their famous quote.
"You will own nothing and be happy."
I just, so so coming full circle to this. Why is our government helping facilitate the loss of affordability, the loss of housing, allowing people, anybody, I don't care, and to buy tremendous amounts of residential housing? And it's what I always warn us about, right? You run out there and you say something against BlackRock or Vanguard or against this what people are doing, and people have been doing this in locally in a lot of places. But you go out and say it, and one of my quote unquote conservative colleagues will run out and say, "Private property, free market, private property, free market." And I just want to slap them because that's not what's going on.
Well, you don't have private property when somebody else owns it. You think you own
You don't have
something?
opportunity if somebody else owns everything either.
That's right. But if you think you own something,
Uh-huh.
you don't.
We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovery.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. Let's get out to your phone calls before I give you some more of what Tommy Tuberville said about the housing bill and what a couple of the other senators who voted no said. Let's go to James. James, welcome to the program. Happy Wednesday to you.
It is a nice day, isn't it?
It is. It's a pretty day out there. When I came in, I was like, Lord, that's a great day. Thank you.
Let's hope it doesn't rain this afternoon. My beans and my peas are killing me because I can't keep up.
Can't pick them all?
I mean, and my tomatoes are exploding from all the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
It's a rough life.
What you
over there.
need is a little stool to sit on out there when you're picking your peas.
I do have I have one of those. I have 3 of those. And one of them rolls.
So you got a rolling kind. You put in the row. You roll in the row and pick the beans.
Well, how did you get that roll packed? I mean, the aisle through your peas packed enough so your
I can't do it.
stool would roll down through there.
I can't do it in the peas because they're so tall. I have to stand up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ann's not very tall.
No.
You ought to get Scott out there to help you with those
Yeah.
things. I can see Scott stooping over. What are you, Scott? 6'4"?
6'4", yeah.
6'4". Okay, I can see you stooping over, picking peas. Scott, you ever been in a pea patch?
I actually grew some peas a couple years ago. Yeah, I've picked peas. I've picked green beans. The green beans are usually strung up, but I've picked the little purple hole peas that are in the little
Black-eyed
bushes.
purple holes?
Yeah,
Scott,
absolutely. They do hurt
well,
your
tell
back.
me something. Did you spray them with malathion to keep the bugs out of them?
I do not.
I mean, I'm just checking. I want to know who I'm dealing with here.
Absolutely. If the bugs come in, the heck with organic. I'll spray them.
I'm glad I didn't come get peas from you, Scott. I've basically quit eating peas because people spray their peas with malathion.
Yeah, actually,
Did you know,
my peas weren't bad. It was I had something that just
Your
was
squash.
my squash
I can't grow squash.
got into the
because-
roots or
Yep,
whatever it was.
It's a grub.
Yeah, they just eat everything.
And listen, they have a new way to get the grub out. You get a gem clip and spread it out and put a little hook on the end of it, and you go in the root and go up the root and grab the grub and pull it out. I have seen them do that.
That's disgusting.
you know what that sounds like, Miss Ann?
What?
Bot flies.
WORK.
Yeah, way
We're
too
against
much.
that, aren't we?
Let me say
Well,
let
on
me
some
say
level.
this about that. I have already canned 18 quarts of green beans. So when the you know what hits the fan, I will have food.
At least
know
green
what?
beans.
I should be quiet right here, but I'm talking to a man not too many years ago, and I said, "Why do you have an office there?" And he said, "Just what you said, except he didn't leave out the
Yeah.
and well, you said earlier the 4 words."
Right.
Do they not remember 2008?
Yep. That's where we're headed.
Is it not unlike government to try to re-implement a failed program?
I think it's deliberate because we just hit 40 trillion in debt. We're in war. We have a war that we might not be able to completely win. We've got Ukraine and Russia and China, and we just hit quantum. Trump wants quantum computing for the government only, which we will never see quantum computing. I think it is a way to distract the people they keep in debt so we can't do anything about it.
Okay. Why not just continue the drive? I mean, let's go on to 50 trillion because we're probably actually closer to 45 than we are 40 already. And the purpose is to drive us to a third world country. If we're not there again already.
Yeah, we may be there, and we don't really know it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If we did not have the quote unquote world's currency,
We would
already be smoked.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll suggest to you: Mountaintop Flea Market on a Sunday. I believe it was Carlos that was on here not too many weeks ago talking about that. But mountaintop flea market on a Sunday
What am
after church.
What am I getting there?
Just go up there and just go and look.
If you
It's in
can't,
Atala.
if you can't
Oh,
speak
I've been there.
Spanish, don't go.
I do speak a little Spanish.
Okay. Well, you'll be okay.
I speak enough Spanish to buy something.
Yeah. Well, then you'll be fine.
I can
To buy
negotiate.
something. Like uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
Gotcha, man. Appreciate you.
Well, tell me something. What is number 9?
Nueve?
You got it. I'll
All
tell you
right.
what. I mean, next thing you know, you will be buying something.
If it's 9,
As long as it's
$9.
only $9.
yeah.
You know the reason
some
the housing
organic
market
peas while
busted
you're up there.
besides derivatives back in 2008,
Yeah.
Wow.
you had so many people in there that really didn't need to be in there, and it was pushing all of your 2x4s and your plywood and all the resources that go into a home. They were way out of line, and so you had people that didn't even know how to build a house, borrowing money. I'm thinking of an example where somebody lost and I should just be quiet before I say more than I need to, but they lost some money that they borrowed because they were trying to build a house and flip it, and during this process, before they got that done, boom, went the housing market bubble.
Yep.
Well, we had millions in that situation. Millions lives
Exactly.
ruined.
But that's just one that I know firsthand.
Well, I have to tell you, it's coming, and they're doing it deliberately. And the market just hit 51 something. That can't continue, so they're going to have to force a correction, and this is one way they're doing it.
And when they force a correction, whole bunch
Who's
of people.
it going to hurt, Scott?
Whole bunch of people going to lose their retirements.
Yep.
All right.
The
That's it.
the very people who think this does not matter to me because I have my house, I'm older, I'm generation, what is it, boomers, and when they wake up one day and the government's like,
Well, you know what you can do, Scott?
what?
Before the boom goes,
Yeah.
Plant some peas.
sell out, baby.
Sell out. Well,
Sell out.
there's been multiple times that I thought this cannot go on. If you own something, you need to sell. And I'm not giving out any financial advice because I've been wrong every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But whether you're looking at a place at the lake or looking, wherever, you think it cannot keep going up. People can't afford to buy this, but it does. They don't think it works that way, but Sky.
But it be.
Well,
Some people shorted the financial market when they saw this coming in 2007 and made out like a bandit. That wealth went somewhere, believe me.
and they knew it was coming.
Yes. You could see. Well, it's all been done before we went through this.
We got to take a break. Let's do it, and we'll come back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
We are back, everybody. Welcome back into the program. Let's get out to some of your phone calls. Goodness gracious, let's catch up in this last segment. Let's go to Rocon Tour with our World Cup update. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, good morning. Give me a minute. James rattled me with dredging up childhood trauma.
I got you. Just take your time.
Summer 9 a.m. mornings where 9 a.m. tasted like sweat and seven dust in a butterbean patch. And then getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning to drive 6 hours to Collinsville to the flea market to stay all day to drive 6 hours back home and get it home at midnight.
Did y'all sell enough at the market in Collinsville to make up for the 12 hours of travel?
Oh, we weren't selling. We were just looking.
Oh, golly, that's rough.
So I'm going to ask the question about Seven Dust. Some people say yes and some people say no.
Oh, I'm sure it's not good for you, but it kills bugs.
It was. I'll put it this way: growing up, Seven Dust was less harmful than not having any butter beans in the freezer in December.
Yeah. That's kind of how we got to where we are on all these things, isn't it? Like if you go out there and wait a minute, they've killed half the squash. Am I going to poison them, or am I not going to have any squash? It's the same reason we had so few hawks back in the day. Bird predators, because if they're coming to eat your chickens, guess what? The hawks got to go, and that's how it worked in the old days.
I have lots of hawks. I live next to the preserve, and they like the bunnies that live next door.
Mm-hmm. And if you survive eating the bunnies.
Yeah.
Might have to do it. So what's up, Rocon Tour?
Yeah. Well, backtrack real quick. And the difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist is an ophthalmologist has gone an additional schooling so that they can do surgeries like LASIK and corrective or glaucoma, stuff like that. Optometrists cannot do those things.
So I think this one had started as an optometrist and maybe became an ophthalmologist because she had both on the wall.
So how do you remember the difference? The H means it's higher prices?
Yeah.
The H can take you into the hospital. How's that? That's how you remember. H for hospital. What?
Hospital.
I know exactly when you went to school. My kids do that. You are the same age as my kids. They do the same thing. I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. But I appreciate
no worries.
that.
Housing market. I got a solution.
Okay.
We can make a bunch of money doing it.
Okay.
We started a reality TV show called the Tijuana Taxi Company. We find for every two people who are disgruntled and don't like America, we put them in a taxi, ship them to Tijuana, and trade them out for one person who wants to be here, like these Europeans over here for the World Cup. And if we really want to make bank, we convince the government to give us $20 million in subsidies to fund this project, and we call it the We Love Children and Puppies Act.
I like that idea.
So here's my question.
I look, you're not going to believe this, Rocon Tour. On the way to work this morning, all right, I made up the PICS program.
Okay.
People, what was the other one? People, God, what was the other one? It was an I for not intelligence, but maybe it was People Investments Exchange. And I wanted the government to give us money, and we would trade like a doctor. Like you got a leftist doctor in America, and we would trade them for a doctor from Scotland, and it would be an even trade, and they could spend 6 months or a year traded like a student exchange
Citizen exchange program.
Yeah, a citizen exchange program. And then what would happen was, and I got part of this from Clark, what would happen was the leftist would realize that the socialized world isn't so great. And then the person that came over here from the European country, when we swapped them back, the American would now have a better appreciation for America. And the European would go back to Europe and begin to plant the seeds of what the heck are we doing here? They don't do this in America. And it would be a win-win for both. And if they both wanted to stay, we traded up.
Okay, so there's a fallacy in that argument because Californians are Americans, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The ones that moved to Texas, what did they do?
Yeah, they learned where they.
Yeah.
But because they didn't know yet. See, I'm hoping they learn when they're in Europe. You think we need to trade somewhere else, like the Congo? Europe's not tough enough. It was such a good idea when we started.
Well, I mean, you got to always look at the.
Well, maybe I'm with Roken Tour. If we can just get that $20 million worth of funding for the federal government, it doesn't
Well-
matter if our program works. We meant well.
Robert Adderholt is holding a class up in, I think it's in Coleman, to teach you how to fill out the NGO paperwork to get money from the government this month. So
Really?
maybe you
Maybe
need
we need to do that.
You need to sign up for that.
Yeah. Roken Tour, anything
There we
else?
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
good.
rapid fire World Cup update because there's so much going on, but I'll be really quick. Yesterday's recap: Ronaldo became the only player to ever score in 6 different World Cups.
Wow.
England versus Ghana ends in a tie when a Ghanaian witch doctor puts a curse on Harry Kane, England's top scorer, then misses an easy kick to win the game. So obviously he didn't have enough ting tang in his Walla Walla Bing Bang. Today we've got Bosnia Herzegovina playing Qatar. Pretty much if one of those teams wins, we will play them in the next round.
Okay.
Brazil and Cuba are playing down in Miami and South Beach. Will Smith famously said South Beach is for every nation, black, white, Cuban, or Asian. But can a Scottish bagpipe brigade wearing kilts ever have been imagined?
There we go. Hey, thanks. We got to take a break. Roken Tour. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. So I was talking to Ann during the break about this affordable housing thing, and I have not a little bit of, I wouldn't say experience in it, but you just start looking at, I want to read y'all this. Okay, so y'all, see if y'all hear things the same way I do. So we all know who Elizabeth Warren is, Pocahontas.
And it was her bill.
Terribly liberal. It's her bill, her and, is it Tim Scott?
Yeah.
Now, I want to read you what she says. Let's see. All right. This is Elizabeth Warren, the top Democrat on the Senate Banking Committee. Now, I want y'all to tell me if this makes you feel good or not. Today's vote proves that it is possible to find bipartisan common ground on legislation that actually helps the American people. And importantly, it proves that bipartisan legislation doesn't have to be the weakest, most milquetoast agreement that doesn't offend anyone or do too much to help anyone. So Elizabeth Warren is saying that this legislation is robust.
Right.
So she's very pleased with how robust this legislation is. Elizabeth Warren is happy.
That's scary.
And that doesn't bother Alabamians? That doesn't bother the junior senator from the state of Alabama? Okay, so here's the rest of it. The most milquetoast agreement doesn't have to be milquetoast. That doesn't offend anyone, which she knows it's going to offend someone.
It offends me.
Who actually goes and looks at what it does.
It seriously offends me.
And doesn't do too much to help anyone. So it's going to be very helpful in Elizabeth Warren's mind. With Elizabeth Warren's worldview, she thinks this is great.
Well,
so do y'all feel good about it?
So with $200 million to illegals, and they don't call them housing, they call them units.
They do call them units. I did find that.
Which connects to, here comes my dot, the 2014 Innovate and Workforce Act passed by Obama to build workforce housing, low income, federal workforce housing.
They got froze out in a lot of places because people realized what it was.
Right. Trump and Doge went in. They killed the funding for the Innovate and Workforce Act, and now our Congress has put it back for illegals and workforce housing. And I haven't read the entire bill, so I'm going to say I'm going to go home and print it out and read the entire bill, but I guarantee you that's what it's
in
for.
There. Elizabeth Warren also said, Sky, I don't say this a lot, but today I'm proud to be a member of the United States Senate.
There's a warning right there. Can we review just a moment? Because this past is prologue. We've been through this before. The Community Reinvestment Act was really just put on steroids in the Clinton administration. And they pressured, but it's all about affordable housing.
Right.
And what they did, they pressured banks to lend to people housing loans.
People who wouldn't pay.
That they normally, there were horrible credit risk.
Right. Also,
they lowered the down payment. So you had people, I knew someone that got a house and it turned out he had made very, very little down payment. Well, guess what happened?
He lost his house.
He defaulted on the loan. Okay. Well, this happened all over the country. It was a massive effort by the Clinton administration. And the rest is history. Okay. You can't lend to people that can't pay the money back.
Well,
they're going to default. That's what caused the housing bubble, or what they call the housing bubble. And Barney Frank was up there, much like Elizabeth Warren, promoting this. Bush, I'm not a big President Bush fan, but he went to Congress at least a dozen times warning what was going to happen. And they laughed, they ridiculed him. Why do you hate, people having the American dream? It's always painted up in this pretty package.
Yeah. Well, that's why this is called, why it's affordable housing. Rick.
It was a financial disaster.
Well, I hate to tell y'all know my daughter's in mortgage. This is not new. They've been doing it for the last several years. She comes home every day. I don't know how these people are getting these houses. I don't know how they're being qualified. I give this person 6 months in this house because it'll take that long for them to get them out.
Listen to this, Rick Scott. This is according to that Time magazine article. And we don't get to hear a lot of what some of these U.S. senators say. It says Scott highlighted an amendment that he offered to the housing bill that he said was not entertained in a post on X. So he had an amendment, and they just wouldn't even recognize him to have it put on, apparently. He said, if we're passing the Road to Housing Act, I think that's what they're officially calling it, Road to Housing, ROAD, I think it's only fair to make sure that it actually works. Listen to this. This is the amendment that the United States Senate and the U.S. House apparently did not want, Sky. I offered an amendment to make sure Congress gets an annual report on how this bill directly impacts housing affordability for middle-income homeowners. So, hey, let's at least have somebody tell us if this actually helps middle-class people who, let's be honest, that's the freaking Republican voters.
That's the one they're trying to destroy.
He said, I never got the chance to bring it up. This should have been a no-brainer. It proves that what we're doing helps, quote, the American people. Last week, Scott wrote on X, home prices are going through the roof in America, and Congress is playing around with solutions that will only make things worse, not better. In response to another post showing Zillow's recent finding that starter homes in at least 242 cities are $1 million, he says, point me to the section of the Road to Housing bill that actually makes housing more affordable for middle-class families. I want to point out and note that twice Senator Scott is saying, how does this help middle-class families? Which, you know what he's not saying, but he is saying at the same time. This is another government program that does two things. Helps the poor, quote unquote, helps the poor. Oh, you're so great, Scott, you're helping the poor. But what else it does? Helps the rich.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
Not
rich
supposed to say that.
are getting paid and will profit from having to, quote unquote, help the poor. So instead of the rich helping the poor with their own money, the middle class who's not going to get the help has to pay the rich to help the poor, which means the only people that don't have more at the end of the day is the middle class.
Just like the end of the last Affordable Housing Act.
Correct.
At the end, do you remember Hillary Clinton's quote?
What?
As we bailed out the big financial houses
Mm-hmm.
that had given these mortgages out, when they knew we had to bail them out, taxpayers, you and me,
Mm-hmm.
they are too big to fail.
They're too big to fail.
Yeah.
But a regular,
We're not too small to pay for
That's
it.
exactly. And a regular little middle class guy, they don't care if you fail.
No.
They don't
It's
care
all
if she
baked into
fails.
the pie, baby. Yeah.
That's right. I don't know what they're going to do one of these days, but I really wish they would quit helping us.
So the amendment to add some accountability,
Just to have
some
a
actual
report.
checkup and see if we're actually if the bill is doing anything, didn't even make it to
They didn't even entertain it. Yes.
Yeah, of course not.
Well, that's not the point. That's
Counterproductive.
How much time we got, Sky?
30 seconds.
Tommy Tuberville voted against it. He said the Trump that had vowed not to sign any legislation, that's the SAFE Act. We'll see what Trump does. Trump probably kind of leans towards the people that are going to be helping the poor with the federal dollars. He says, Tuberville said, we have seen time and time again that writing a blank check to the blue cities means that federal tax dollars will end up in the hands of illegals instead of going to the American citizens it was intended to help. This bill also expands the already bloated Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is the opposite of what we need to be doing. We should be focused on getting government out of the way and allowing the free market to drive down costs through competition and a booming economy.
Brilliant.
That is way
That's
too
a
common
statesman
sense
right there.
for us. And that's why he probably is miserable in Washington, D.C., because if you think like that, like a common sense, rational person, D.C. has got to drive you crazy. We'll be back. Unlucky. Welcome back into the program. Last statement from Tommy Tuberville about this housing affordability. What do they call it? The road to housing. What is it? What did I say it was called?
The Road to Housing Act.
Tuberville said in the recent statement to Time, or in a written statement to Time, that he's looking for ways to bring down housing costs for American families, but giving the federal government more control over housing is not the answer. You know who that sounds like?
Reagan.
Sounds like Ronald Reagan. It absolutely does. And when you ask voters in the state of Alabama, hey, do you think the federal government getting more involved in housing will make it better? I would think most Alabamians would say no.
Well, how many Alabamians understand Innovating Workforce is a federal program.
They
and
don't.
Look what they've done.
They don't understand it.
No.
The key to all this is not knowing.
Data centers,
Yeah.
low-cost housing, all these companies coming in and hiring 15 people, but the federal government's paying them millions and millions of dollars of our tax dollars. And, so no. But the federal government right now is expanding triple-fold.
Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger.
I don't care what Trump is trying to do, because he is. But the deep state and the people who control these HHS and the Department of Education and Department of Commerce, they're expanding as fast as they can go. These data centers and the AI and the quantum, they're going to destroy this country.
And Republican leadership, and y'all don't have to believe me. Ann will probably back me up. But I would argue that most of the quote unquote political consultants are not conservatives.
No.
And most of the people that are in the ear of our senators and our House members are not conservatives.
Absolutely not.
So what they're probably being told is you can't go into the midterms not doing anything about housing. Housing costs are through the roof. They're going to use this against you. You got to do something about housing. Well, what do we do? Well, we have Elizabeth Warren has a plan over here. So they pass something so they can say they're doing something about affordable housing. And my argument is you could have done so. You could have passed something that limited, cut the Black Rocks, et cetera, off at the knees and said we're not letting these huge corporations be in the residential housing market. We're just not. And then we're also going to, a lot of housing is limited because we have so many illegal aliens in the country. You can't bring millions and millions and millions of people into a place and not expect them to try to find housing. And if they're scarfing up the housing, Americans can't get it. That is a easy ad to run.
Yep.
And they could have paid me a lot, and I would have come into their caucus meeting and told them that's what you need to go with, and that's what will win. But they bought into this, we need to pass something that says make housing more affordable, and my guess is it's going to be a disaster.
I think the Republican Party needs to become Republicans as their platforms say.
Yeah.
And not become part of the Democrat Party. We have a uni party right now. Everybody's on the same page in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And it is not for us.
Right.
It is not for we the people. And our state government is just as bad and maybe even worse. So we can beat this dead horse till it's buried. I was going to say something else, but that doesn't sound
Mike Lee critiqued the bill for only, now listen to this. The bill puts a temporary ban on the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency.
Temporary.
Yeah. So how do I translate that? This is my guess. So, Ann, you're going to go out and let's see. You're going to leave the show, and you've told me, Scott, I am going to go down the road down here, and I'm going to run through this fence at the Little League ballpark. Okay. And I'm going to just drive circles around the field. I'm just going to trench it out, doing donuts. Okay, and so you've told me you're going to do that, and I'm like, Ann, I'm passing legislation right now. Got it right here. I'm signing it. Ann Eubank may not drive down the road and run through the fence at the Little League ballpark, nor do donuts in the park for 30 days. Do you see what I'm saying? I've stopped you for 30 days. I didn't say you can't. I specifically basically told you when you can, right?
Okay.
You can do it next month.
You know how we were talking about how my brain is like a spider web?
Yes.
Okay.
Never turns off.
The minute you said that, the minute you told me it was temporary for CBDC, what's his name is the new Fed chair?
Yeah, the new one that's.
He is infusing cash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If this bill does what it says it's going to do, and it will cause another 2008, we have to have a crisis to implement what?
Universal income,
CBDC.
and that's central bank digital currency.
Yes.
Senator Lee said
This will be the crisis that will drive us to digital currency.
wouldn't surprise me.
That is exactly because I have all the facts. I know all their little games and their plays, and I know what all this crap is. That's the crisis. That is the implementation of the crisis that will bring us digital currency. And if I'm wrong, I'll say so. But I am making this prediction. Watch for it.
I believe you. So Lee said that he critiqued the bill for only temporarily banning the Federal Reserve. This is the rest of the sentences. A former U.S. currency issued by the government rather than prohibiting it from doing it so permanently. He had legislation that he's reintroduced seeking to implement a permanent ban. His office contended in a press release that the Fed creating such a currency would restrict financial institutions' ability to offer loans, and that the Federal Reserve would have knowledge of every transaction involved. Yes, absolutely, they would. But here's what I don't get, Sky. I thought the Treasury was constitutionally empowered with creating and issuing the currency. I mean, that is in the Constitution, is it not?
Yes, but we know who's really boss, don't we? Who's really calling the shots?
He also argued that the legislation, quote, does not do nearly enough to safeguard housing programs for American citizens only.
Oh, said it out loud.
He said that there are several measures he believes need to be taken to truly improve housing affordability, among them continuing mass deportations of undocumented immigrants who he claimed are placing a significant burden on housing availability and affordability for Americans. He claimed, come on, Time Magazine, claimed. That's just a fact.
He came right out and said it. And it's claimed though.
Yes, yeah, because that's just a claim.
That's a big however.
The five senators, they deserve an award. We'll be
Indeed.
back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Again, everybody, so much stuff to do. Let's get out to Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy, welcome to the program.
I was calling for the Ann Eubanks show, please.
Yeah, you got it, Soldier Boy. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. Quick, you've been replaced by Ann.
That's fine.
Only on Wednesday.
That's fine.
And let me tell you something. That wasn't a hard task either. Okay, Scott. Okay?
No, it wasn't a big hurdle, no doubt about it. It's easily accomplished.
No.
What's up?
It's okay. What I wanted to talk about is the North Korean. They just built a $1 billion North Korean watchtower in Chicago.
Was that North Korea or was that? No, I mean, I guess if it was Star Wars, the Empire had cool stuff. Yeah. So, we'll go with North Korea.
No windows on it. It looks like the North Korean watchtower.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a refrigerator designed for the Death Star that was rejected. That's what.
Yeah, that the Empire wouldn't even take.
They wouldn't take it.
Somebody said it was part of one of those snow walker things, but it blew the head and the legs off.
And that really, it looks like that. I had a hard time reading what was on the side of it. I finally found it.
You know what it said, don't you? Bankrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it was a quote from one of his speeches, but I was like, what the heck does that say? It's ugly.
I know that speech said you can pony up $5.
Exactly.
Sucker.
Send me money.
$5. Come on, you got $5. Your insurance, your health insurance won't rise. Oh yeah, that's a good phrase too. I love all those phrases.
And you get to keep your doctor.
Yeah.
Oh God, if he doesn't quit or retire early, yeah.
Well, there's just one
Scott,
problem. I understand, Soldier Boy.
Hey Scott, what's that?
Oh, you go ahead. There's apparently some problem.
What I want to say about that beautiful North Korean watchtower in Chicago is that the black contractors are all screaming and hollering, and they're not getting paid.
Yeah, a couple
What's going on?
Yeah, and it was $830 million, and then all of a sudden it became $1 billion.
It went to $1 billion.
Yeah. So.
Well, here's the thing about it is they interviewed some of the black contractors, and they said a couple of the contractors are filing for bankruptcy for financial protection.
Isn't that just poetic? I mean, come on. You can't make this stuff up.
You can make that up. And it was supposed to, what do you call it, directed towards minority contractors and everything. And I was like, I guess at that time, building that project was not a good idea to be a minority.
Well, I do think there's a very good chance that because if you're the person needing to be paid, what if you were overpaid, didn't actually do all the work you were supposed to do, and then when somebody comes along and says, hey, you got to come finish what you're supposed to finish, then you say, oh, no, I'm in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I think it could be a boondoggle from the very start to the very finish for a lot of folks. Go in both directions.
I think it was a East Side Chicago hustle.
Yeah, I think there's a good.
I'll pay you. I'll promise to pay you. Yeah, because we'll sign this contract. I mean, I'd put a lien on it. I mean, that'd be the first time the presidential libraries had a lien on it. I'd put a lien on it. You either pay me. Well, that's what you would do with a house, wouldn't you, Scott?
Yes. No. Absolutely.
Put a lien on it.
I have a question. How come it cost $1 billion to build a concrete tower?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was people.
What's inside of the concrete?
Made fortunes building the Obama library.
Yeah, because that's all it is a concrete tower.
It is ugly. Yeah, with Scott Adams, Soldier Boy, back last fall. Scott Adams, I think it's the one who passed away, the Dilbert Scott Adams, that originally posted, one of these is the Obama library and the other is a North Korean guard tower. And it's it's pretty good.
I want to know if am I a minority and I go and check out some books at the library, could I get my late fees waived?
You shouldn't have to pay them, should you? Do you think they'll? Can you imagine how many school children they're going to force through that It's just going to be so
to
bad.
live in Chicago.
Yep.
It's like building a Walmart on Ann Street. I'm telling you. Am I right?
No. Oh, my dog would have a heart attack.
But you
every
know what
day.
they'll do? They'll send all those poor little kids through. They'll help indoctrinate them, brainwash them, and then you'll read on Time magazine 2 or 3 years from now how the most visited presidential library is the Barack Obama presidential library. Like people wanted to go there, but no, they were forced to go there. We got to take a break, man. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovery.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. I don't know, it's either mine or Sky's. One of our interwebs is not fully up to speed, so we just see a ghost of Sky. This is how he will look when he comes back and haunts people at the
It's
radio station.
It's like you're sitting,
And I will.
sitting behind a piece of plastic.
Yeah, it looks weird. All right, so here's the last two guys. Ron Johnson also voted against the Affordable Housing Act. We heard during the news break that the president has canceled
The signing
the ceremony for that legislation. So maybe there's a chance he's figured out what's in it, or maybe he's going to take a stand for the SAVE Act. And maybe if he vetoes it and sends it back to the House and the Senate, now that some Americans are kind of looking into this, maybe they won't think it's so great and wonderful. But I feel bad.
So wait. So if that happens, y'all need to call Katie Britt and tell her we don't like your vote on that.
Yeah.
That's not helping the middle class of Alabama.
Yeah. Why don't they just cull it all out and then make the part where it says that BlackRock and those big institutional investors have to quit buying residential properties and then renting them to people?
And
Are
then
you
not,
talking about line item veto, Scott?
Absolutely.
I would love that,
Oh,
but
man.
Once upon a time, there was a constitution created in North America.
that had a
included
line
that.
item veto in it.
Yes.
Was that was probably done by racist people though? 'Cause
I
only
understand it
racists would
was.
want to not take all the crap in giant omnibus bills and force it on everybody.
And just to make sure that that didn't happen, they also had single item bills that were required in the legislature. So you
Yes.
couldn't pack all this pork.
Had to be
and-
about one topic.
Yeah, but you know, those people.
I don't even remember who they were.
I don't either. It's not important.
Ann doesn't know.
Ann doesn't know. It had to be during
Their
Clinton.
their belt buckles
It had to be during
on their
Clinton.
uniforms said CSA.
Oh, I know them.
Well, sometimes they stole
I
the
know
USAs and turned them upside down. Yeah.
Actually, I have one.
You have one of those belt buckles?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So
And a
Rand
bunch of other stuff. too.
Rand Paul and Ron Johnson both blew it. And I keep telling y'all that there are Republicans, and I used to call them the Cato Institute Republicans, and because they're smart, and they've latched on to these kind of talking points, but they don't necessarily think beyond those talking points. Okay. So Ron Johnson and Rand Paul both were lamenting the fact that big institutional investors were going to be prohibited from buying single-family homes and then renting them out to everybody, which is with the restriction of BlackRock, et cetera. They're also the ones that I explain and say, you know, someone ends up with a monopoly, and they would be like, well, that's the free market. I mean, they got it through the free market. And I'm like, no. Once you get a monopoly, there's no more free market. You've now ruined the whole system. There has to be some regulation. There has to be some limitation. But Ron Johnson and Rand Paul both lamented the large institutional investors being cut off at the knees.
Which surprises me with Ron Paul.
Yeah, but sometimes he falls into that. Like he gets so quote unquote pure that he misses the forest for the trees sometimes.
Well, sometimes he's in that Washington, D.C. bubble.
Yeah, he is. And so Ron Johnson says, you'll love this guy, since many of the houses are owned by institutional investors and are rented, banning this class of investors may decrease the number of rental houses, thus raising rents.
Wow. Understanding supply and demand economics. Wow.
I think more of our leaders need to, maybe this is something we start asking our senators and our congressmen.
Fascinating.
Explain to me how this policy would work in a town that only has 100 people living in it.
Right.
And if you can't tell me how it's going to work in the town of 100 people, explain to me how it's going to work in a country of 350 million people. Because if there's a town of 100 people and I own almost every house in the town, which way does rent go, up or down?
Well, that's the problem. Just ask anybody who's in mortgage or rental properties or banking or any kind, that when these people come in, they pay cash.
Yeah.
And they drive the price up. it doesn't matter how high they have to go
Well,
to buy that house.
That's what
they
people
have done that.
That's what people miss is they. So Ron Johnson would say something like, I think you told a story one time, Ann, at the beach, and how some of these big institutional investors came in and they buy up everything in this little beach town. Almost not everything, but we're just saying they buy everything available.
Right.
And then so Ron Johnson would go, yeah, but they came in, they bought it for more than it was going for. Look how great that is.
Right.
But
Oh.
if you buy everything for more than it was going for, you now own all the supply.
Supply demand.
So now when you plug the old supply and demand formula back in, now everything costs more. Or you can just rent it from us for what your old house payment would have been. But since we own it all, we'll just rent it to you. And then years from now, when you would have owned it or you would have sold it to somebody else, we still own it, and we'll rent it to the next sucker.
Right.
And that's what I think Senator Johnson and apparently Senator Paul both miss that part because they don't ever think about it on the scale of, oh, yeah, I could actually get everything available. Even if I paid too much, I'll get you in the end.
And now you can't go to the beach because it costs 10 times more than what it did 5 years ago.
Right, right.
For
And
that
don't- and-
very reason.
Yeah. And insurance is through the roof. And last time I checked, a whole bunch of governments down there were going to help fix insurance.
Look out.
But, hey, still can't
No, you
still
can't.
can't afford it all.
You can't get it. If you can get it, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
A lot of places you can't even get insurance.
I'm beginning to fall in the camp, and I'm not with the socialists, but I'm beginning to fall into the camp of you can have as much money as you want in the bank. You just got to quit buying up all the assets. You can't buy all the land. You can't buy all the houses. You can't do this new thing that's out there, Sky. I don't even know if you knew it was out there. I didn't know it was out there. People trying to buy all the water.
Yes. Yes. That's going to be the next.
Hey, well,
commodity
let me tell y'all one that I haven't seen this happen yet, but just think about it. Have you ever tried to look at buying like the mineral rights
You can't anymore.
under somewhere? You know, it might have coal, it might have gas, might have so and so. You can own the farm on top, but you don't actually own the mineral rights. What happens when somebody comes along and says, you know, back in 1908, when my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather bought the mineral rights under your farm, you might not have known it, but groundwater is the same thing. I think I own the groundwater under your farm just like I own the coal, just like I own the oil, just like I own the natural gas. It's all the same. It's in the ground. I bought everything under the surface of the ground. Wait until somebody tries to pull that stunt.
Hadn't thought of that.
And then everybody says, well, that won't happen, Scott. Really? What happens if he gave millions of dollars to get the legislature elected and arguably gave millions of dollars to make sure his buddies became judges? You really think we're going to win that
no
argument, or is he
chance.
going to win that argument?
Right. I hadn't considered that.
Unfortunately, that is the name of the game.
Yeah.
That's just like the Nestle, what was it?
The Nestle CEO
CEO of the board.
saying that human beings don't have a right to water.
Right, because he wants to buy all the water for his
Well, don't
candy
forget,
factories.
my Cato guys will be like, well, you know, I mean, I own the water on my pond. Can't I sell in my pond? Scott, are you against me being able to buy and sell freely from my pond? Well, if it works for water, why doesn't it work for air?
Yep.
I'm telling you, I don't know if we fully understand how far these people are willing to go. I hope I didn't give anybody an idea on the groundwater, but I can absolutely see
now,
somebody making that argument.
The globalists have already started it with it's actually, I'm on War Room Georgia this afternoon, and it started, Northwest Georgia is really having water problems because the corporations, the globalists, want to own the rivers coming down between Alabama and Georgia.
Of course they do. We got to take a break. Then we'll get to Thunder. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
We were just laughing. We were saying when God made Ann Eubank, he said to everybody, hey, y'all, what's this? Oh, what'd you say? This ought to be fun?
This ought to be fun.
Oh, my goodness. Let's, by the way, it was Oscar Gamble, the famous quote that is the quote for our show. They don't think it be like it is, but it do.
Yes,
And it's so, I mean,
from Montgomery, Alabama, played for the New York Yankees. His fro wouldn't fit underneath his batting helmet. It
really?
was so big. Yes, at one time.
It is so. I'm telling you, I'm like, that is one of the most true statements that has ever been said, and it just is so good. We appreciate Oscar Gamble. We really, really do. No, it's right. It is right on point for so many things we talk about. Let's go out to Thunder. Thunder, welcome to the program.
He said it all.
I'll tell you what, we learn a little bit more every day when we listen to y'all.
Well,
I appreciate y'all more than you know. I want to go
you.
back to this housing situation. You're welcome. I want to go back to this housing situation just a second.
Okay.
We would not have a housing shortage if we get rid of all the damn illegal invaders.
I totally agree.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's really, really true. It shows that we don't care about the poor, Thunder. All this talk from Washington, D.C. about, from Democrats and Republicans, we care about the poor. We care about the working class. We care about people having opportunities to start from the bottom. We want people to have jobs. We want people to have places to live. We want affordable housing. No, it's just a lie. It's an absolute lie. Because if they did, they would kept the invaders out.
That's it. And people need to understand these are not immigrants. It's not poor Petey me. They're illegal invaders, and they have entered your country illegally. What part of illegal do they not understand?
Bingo!
Getting rid of these damn judges and the attorneys as well. It's not just the judges that are crooked as rats. It's the attorneys that are crooked also. You get rid of that situation, you disbar them from ever participating in the legal system again, and we'll have a whole lot fewer problems. But getting rid of the illegal invaders needs to be everybody's number one goal. And if the judge and the attorney doesn't like it, post their address so that the illegal invaders know where they're welcome.
It's a very, very good point. Very good point, Thunder.
Now that might just stop some of this situation, and it just might decide that, oh, well, I don't want them living in my house. I don't want them living in my neighborhood. Years ago, I worked with people that had disadvantages, and one of the worst things that I heard was a young woman who had no intentions of working.
Mm-hmm.
She had half a dozen children. She wasn't but 30 years old. She had half a dozen children. And we were riding through this really nice neighborhood of several $100,000 homes. And she saw a house, and she said, oh, I like that house. I think I want to live in that house. I'm going to tell my representatives that that's where I want to live next time, and we're going to have Section 8 go in there.
Mm.
That's what
I
they
thought
did.
she was joking.
Yeah, that's what they did in Lake Cyrus. Yeah, they brought in Section 8 into Lake Cyrus, and those houses were very expensive.
Well, I thought she was joking until the attorney came and visited her.
Yep.
And they were discussing moving into I think it was about an $800,000 house at the time. And it was kind of like, you have got to be kidding me. You don't hit a lick of a snake. You refuse to work. You refuse to do anything other than produce another child. I doubt she even knows who all the fathers are.
Mm.
And she's living off of our hard-earned tax dollars.
Thank you. And then you add illegal invaders in on top of that? No, we need a cleaning in Washington, D.C. If we could have a complete purge of the Senate and the House almost, this country would be a whole lot better off.
I agree. The problem is, as we have found in Alabama when we took over the legislature, it took about, 2 or 3 years until they became the problem as well?
I'm going with 4.
I'm sure.
4? Yeah. It's called
After 4.
power and
I'm sure.
money. Power and money corrupts.
Yeah, that first quadrennium, I think we were
Absolutely.
fair.
Yeah.
But after that,
After the first 4 years, they just they're all the same.
yeah,
It's
bad.
power.
Well,
So what we
and that's-
need is to keep them from staying there. You go in,
Yeah.
you do a couple of years, and you come out.
Well, that is exactly what our founding fathers intended on happening.
You don't say.
Congress was not a career. Congress was your duty to your country.
Right.
Once upon a time, there was a constitution created in North America that included term limits. And the president could only serve one term. Legislatures were okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
back to you.
exactly.
Those
Hey,
idiots.
Thunder, thank you so much.
Good call, girl.
Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
We're
Thank
trying. We're trying our best. Well, hopefully we can make some headway. It'll be interesting to see what the president has to say. But let's go out to David. David wants to weigh in on the water rights things. He may have a little bit of vision that we don't have. David, welcome to the program. Happy Wednesday to you.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my wife's family actually own mineral rights in the state where she grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they own the mineral rights for pretty much an entire town.
Yeah, yeah.
And she still gets checks every month for mineral rights from that, which has been in her family for generations.
Yes.
And she came from an oil family, and so they get oil and gas mineral rights from the state that she grew up in. But as far as with the water rights, there are several good documentaries out there you can look up on YouTube. One called Parched, which is, basically the globalists, which they do this a lot. If you pay attention, they use Australia as a test tube for a lot of their things that they're trying to do in the world.
Yeah.
And they started basically taking up the water in Australia. This was probably 20 years ago, buying up the water rights in Australia to the point that they basically drove farmers out of business, or farmers started committing suicide at such an alarming rate that the government had to step in and basically intervene on behalf of the farmers with the globalists.
And that was all
right
surface water, like all the way down to rain, but that was all surface water stuff.
Well, it was aquifers too. They were buying up actual underground water, yeah. And as of about 10 years ago, California is the test tube here. They started doing it in California about 10 years ago. And you have outfits like Harvard University, who is buying up entire aquifers in California. You have several big Hollywood types who have bought up aquifers in counties up in Northern California.
Well, who? Wait, David.
And they basically.
David.
Go ahead.
So who owns an aquifer today to sell it to Harvard? You get what I'm saying? Did they?
Yeah, I know.
Was it a mineral rights argument?
Question. Yeah, it was basically so. And so they've done the same thing. They have, because, and they did the same thing in North Dakota when they had the oil boom there about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you had families who had farms there for generations. You had corporations come in without the farmers even knowing it, bought up all the mineral rights on their properties and started setting up gas and oil wells on properties without even asking the farmers. They just simply showed up and started excavating their land and putting in gas and oil rigs. But in California, they basically purchased the aquifer water, and then they turn around and force the farmers to purchase it from them, of course, at whatever price they set it at. And nobody's stopping it. It's really almost outside of California, nobody knows about.
Yeah, and it basically empowers the very wealthy to buy the water right out from under you, and then charge you. It is corrupt. It is absolutely corrupt.
Oh, it is, absolutely. And they actually had a story about one farmer who had his water purchased out from under him, and they had another farm that purchased that water, and they ran, it was like a 6 or 8 inch water line 2 counties away to get it to this farmer who purchased it out from under another farmer.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize how bad it was, David. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. Hey, here's a little interesting thing. I was trying to tell y'all the other day about some of these entities that own everything, and I found some of the historical record, at least AI did, Sky. Jefferson County, Alabama, covers roughly 711,000 total acres. So 700,000 acres in Jefferson County. At one time, U.S. Steel owned over 120,000 of those
Roughly
711,000.
1/5 of the entire county.
Yeah, that was so. Now it says, put it all in perspective. Actually, they may have owned at one time up to a third. Wow. Yes, at its peak, they owned 150,000 acres. So a little less than a third.
And they had the mineral rights.
Oh, I don't even know about the rights.
They had to, because that was all about the steel manufacturing.
That was all about coal.
That was there's the 3 ingredients you need right there in Birmingham area.
But just imagine, they still own 70,000 acres. In 2014, they got rid of about 70,000 acres. I don't know who owned it. And here's the funny part, Sky. They got it because originally they were U.S. Steel at one time was part of Tennessee Coal, Iron, and Railroad Company.
Right.
And that's how they
I wonder what kind of a deal they got on that land.
Back then?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if there was some kind of incentive because, the steel manufacturing aspect.
I don't know.
Bringing it to Jefferson County.
I don't know. But
I'll look into that.
But the point I was trying to make was the thing about how many young people I was telling, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, and Craig, I'm coming to you in just a second. We talk a lot about how private property is the backbone of the United States.
Right. Yeah. The ownership.
I think private property is the backbone, but the ability to actually own that land is the real backbone. The ability to actually have access to some little bit of land is the real beauty of private property. Because some of these countries where a handful of people own all the land and everybody else lives in a box,
right?
They have quote unquote private property rights. It's just all the people in the boxes can't get any of the property because it's owned by the whoever the Gutierrezes, and they've owned it for 500 or 600 years. Whenever the crown gave it to them back, they were one of the conquistadors' right-hand man, that kind of thing. So the ability to actually have these land grants or go out west and get your 60 acres or 40 acres or 80 acres. So Americans had private property and they could actually attain private property is the real backbone of America. And I'm warning people, if we keep locking all these young people out, the folks who talk like Mandami are going to continue to make headway.
If you got a land grant, those are no longer recognized. If you had a land grant, you didn't owe taxes. The government no longer recognizes the land grant certificates.
When did they stop that? Or did they just decide to do it?
They just decided to do it.
Huh. Let's go out to Craig. Craig, welcome to the program.
I am sorry I haven't been able to listen this morning, but I'm so excited because, man, great night in New York. It's going to be great. Scott, what are you talking about somebody having private property? Are you crazy? Government can run that, man.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. And hey, shout out to all you people who are this stupid. Thank you so much because it's going to continue going. We're going to lose everything. And I hope I'm alive that I can get my hands on you when it happens because I will punish you for what you've done. But, it's so sad what people are accepting now. Mm-hmm. And I know me and you both have been on the same page since early 2000. Again, people, most of it's going to be Islam. They're coming. They're going to take over. Look what they've done in the other countries. But, hey, yeehaw! Everything's going to be free, buddy. And I'm sorry I brought the Dukes of Hazzard in there. I know that's racist. So I apologize.
Let me ask Craig. I've been trying to figure out the mindset, and I get it. I know that there's a bunch of people who think they're going to get stuff for free. A lot of the people that are doing all of what they're doing in New York are not heritage Americans. Okay, they're from other countries. They may have come from socialist countries. They are not Americanized in any way, so that makes it easy pickings as well. But this frustration, we on the right are really bad to defend things that will eventually come back to bite us. It was the federal government that passed things like NAFTA. It was the federal government that incentivized a lot of our manufacturing capabilities to leave the country and go someplace else, a part of this global economy. It's going to make the world way better. We've done policy after policy after policy that makes it harder and harder and harder for Americans to prosper. Healthcare is a great example. I mean, you and I both know that paying for insurance, if you actually have the gumption to try to pay for your own insurance, you might as well write off the new car because you got to pay insurance. You can't buy a car. You make so many decisions to do the right thing, and it's more and more and more and more and more expensive. Eventually, even folks who see the world like me and you, Craig, are going to get to the point of like, F it, whatever. I can't do it. I'm with the crazy revolutionaries over here. And that's what I'm trying to warn people about. When Bill Gates goes out and buys 250,000 acres of farmland, and you and I I wish I had 10 acres somewhere, and you can't afford it, and the people that own it have owned it for 150 years, and I understand some of the frustration, and I don't think the frustration is all a bunch of blue-haired communist, wacko people. I think there's some normal young people, what we call normal, who are frustrated by how all this works. And like Ann says, they're doing it all on purpose to cause people to beg for a change, and then they'll come in and give us a terrible, awful Marxist socialist change. But I'm afraid some of our own people are defending things that are helping make the problem worse. Imagine if you and I were forced. We got in trouble. We committed a crime, and they sentenced me and you to live in New York City. It would be terrible. I would hate it. And then when I went to go find an apartment, some scumbag landlord, I've seen, you see them on the movies. We're living in a little bitty box with roaches and no paint, and they want $3,000 a month for it. It's no wonder those people are losing their minds. Am I completely wrong? Am I losing my mind too? Am I going off the leftist end, Craig, or am I making any sense?
No, you just explained how good of a job they've been doing since the early, 50s and 60s on making this the way it is.
Yes.
Like Rush Limbaugh always said, this isn't an overnight plan, and they've worked it to the perfection. But again, like you said, though, let's thank our Ron Pauls. Thank you, Ron Paul, if you're listening. Hey, buddy, stand on your morals. I hope you get on that riding lawnmower and somebody else takes you off of it. But,
he voted right on the Affordable Housing Act.
Yeah, thank you, Susan Collins, for your job. You stand by your morals. You support. See, that's the stupid thing about our side.
Hey, Craig, we got to take a break, buddy. Hold that thought, man. I hate it, but the breaks have to come. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.